My first body doubling video. You guys gonna have to tell me what you think.
Yes, party people, that is correct. Welcome to my first Body Dubbii video. Now, firstly, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Stephanie, and I have 618 days left to pay down £33,000 plus worth of debt, which is the original reason I started over on TikTok. Now, I am doing what I think is okay over there. I would be called like a micro creator. I'm currently sitting at 43,000 plus followers, but if you guys fancy going over and giving that a cheeky little follow, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much. Also, don't forget, if you like what you see here, please feel free to like and subscribe and do all the little things, like leave a little comment. Do you like Body Dubbii videos? Would you prefer to just, get on with it? Do you like words of encouragement? Do you like people telling you you've done enough? I need everyone's help here, really, because like I say, I've never done this before. Brand new to content creation. I am literally that old granny who's like, what'll she say? Like, I'm so shit when it comes to technology that I actively went out and found an electrical engineer to become my husband, y'all. And he's the reason I'm doing this. I'm trying to get rid of our debt for his 40th birthday. You will also know that I jump from topic to topic. It's something that drives him absolutely mad. What was I speaking about? That's it. I'm so crap at technology. I genuinely will never understand why people have got behind me on TikTok, but I'm kind of hoping it happens over here too. Get a little bit more money in the bank, get this debt gone. Me and him can have just this fabulous 40th birthday for himself on a beach with some cocktails and some... No, I won't say that. Basically, this whole thing is just a little introduction about myself. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you subscribe. That would be fantastic. And hopefully we get to take this amazing journey together. So what is the relevant information I can tell you about myself? Well, originally when we started with this debt journey, my husband had no idea, which was really hard for myself because I tell my husband everything. Like, when your mate's like, don't tell anyone, and you're like, I won't, and you instantly run to that other person. Well, that for me is my sister and my husband specifically. No, that's not true. I also tell my sister everything. But only because, right, there's just some things I do, but there's some things your husband will just be really judgy about, and he doesn't understand girl problems sometimes because he's a boy and he smells. Either way, after about 4 weeks, I did manage to get to about 20,000 followers, and it was at that point I sat my husband down. Well, my husband sat me down and basically said, is something going on? And I was like, yes. And he went, is it bad? And I was like, no. And he was like, are you going to tell me? And I was like, I told him within about 30 seconds of him asking because, that's how we do. That's actually also not true. When he said, is it bad? I was like, yeah, I'm cheating on you. And he went, yeah, all right then. And to be fair, it turned out it was a massive mistake not telling my husband, because ever since he's found out, he has gone completely out of his way to help me with my content creation. I'm now doing lives, which are getting, like 50 odd people every time I'm in the live, which I know is not a lot to someone, but would absolutely make me go into a dead panic. If there was 50 people in my house, I would not be able to handle it. Oh, that little turd sitting in the sink, right? His name is Lucifer. Not only isn't he an escape artist, he really likes the water running over his head. So he literally sits in my sink and waits for me to turn the tap on. He then pops his ears underneath the water and starts playing with it. He's such a strange little thing, which is kind of perfect, to be fair, because my whole family is a little bit kooky in the head. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. Since my husband has started helping me, we have gone from strength to strength. Not only did we get our garden sorted out, which is a whole other story in itself. Do you want to hear about that? Should I tell you about that? Should I tell you now or should I tell you later? Stuff it. It's an introduction and I still have like 9 minutes to fill. So, basically what happened is me and my husband have been on the council housing register for 10 years. We were finally offered a property and we were jumping at the chance. When we got here, we fell in love with the house, but the garden was in a terrible state. Now, it turns out the house used to be an old schmug house. I'm not sure if we're allowed to use those words on this platform, but basically bad things used to happen here and it meant the garden was completely unsafe. And we had 2 kids. We've got a 10-year-old and a nearly 2-year-old, so it just meant that they couldn't go out in the garden. And this is after 10 years of my son not having a garden. Thankfully, the entirety of the inside had been completely redone because the previous tenants had, unfortunately through their addiction, had destroyed the house. So all the rooms were painted fresh, all the floors were new, all the doors, the windows, everything was completely sorted except the garden. And when I tell you that my son was devastated that we would not let him out in the back garden is an understatement. So I started documenting what was happening over on TikTok, and that is actually what pushed me past the 15,000 followers. I had one video. I had one video that blew up, and it basically got me the followers I needed to get into the creative rewards program, and it just kickstarted absolutely everything. I'm really tripping over my words right now, I am. Well, like I said, we started documenting everything. I started showing you guys what was being pulled out of the garden. I started telling you guys about the absolute crazy time we had with the council, who literally were refusing to take responsibility for moving us in when we were literally finding used schmeedles in the garden. We had dug out schmeedles out of the ground. No word of a lie, the guy who I spoke to about the garden came back round and he said, well, the minute you signed the contract, you've taken it on as seen. I was like, are you having a minute? I didn't realise I'd have to go digging through my garden like friggin' Indiana Jones, searching for some lost skull or whatnot. I didn't realise I'd have to get my little tools out and start digging through the ground trying to find like lost schmug paraphernalia, because I probably would have said no. Although saying that, I am dead nosy, so I probably would have started digging just to see what I could find. Can you imagine if there's money out there? I'm rich! Either way, I rolled up my sleeves. My husband started getting out there too, and we started going hard at that garden. And like I said, we were documenting the whole way, and some lovely people suggested starting up a Just Giving page, which I had no intention of doing because I really wanted to get this done by myself. But after a little while, I realised it just wasn't going to happen. Unfortunately, the money is just not behind content creation, especially if you are a brand new content creator, which is why I'm trying other platforms too. So if anyone is listening to this and wants to help me get rid of some debt, you know, your girl is not above talking about something that she doesn't know anything about. Although, to be fair, that is also another big porky. I do honest reviews over on TikTok. When I get sent something, I review it honestly, which means I don't get that many sales, because if something's going to be crap, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be crap. Any hoops, I'm going to try and go back to the garden and not get distracted. So, eventually, I did start up a Just Giving page, and people absolutely smashed it. Within a month, we had the budget that we needed to get the garden done, and a week later, it was completed. And I've got the whole video over on TikTok, if you fancy seeing that. I might be recutting it and putting it over here, so don't panic if you do want to see it, but you don't want to go over there. Hopefully, one day, it will come to this platform. I think one thing people do like about my channel is that I am 100% honest. I tell you exactly what I get paid, and I tell you exactly where it's going. So when it came to the summer holidays, I wanted to take some money out of the Creator Rewards program so that I could spend some time with the kids. We didn't have any plans this year, and unfortunately, because we have so much debt to pay down, we didn't have any money left over for things like summer holiday activities. It also got to the point where my content creation was suffering because of the shitty editing software that other certain platforms, I won't say which one, offer. And I don't know how to use any other ones. I'm currently using a new editing software now that I'm trying to kind of navigate and see how I get on with my husband on standby, clearly. I'm not doing this by myself. The next project we had was to get a decent computer. Now, unfortunately, my laptop had started failing, and I use it for things like my podcast, which is currently on a down moment at the moment. We're just getting our heads back into it, and obviously, I wanted to start editing on a computer. My laptop could not handle it, the keys had started failing, it was time to get a new one. However, the whole point of this page was literally to get rid of debt, and the idea of adding another £1,000 on finance was not the one. But we went and had a look in Curry's, and when I tell you, I was so friggin' proud of myself, because they went, yeah, that's fine, you can have the credit. And I was like, nah, son, you keep your dirty money. I am so sorry if this is winding anyone up. Honestly, I don't take a lot of things seriously. That is another part of my personality that you'll either love or it'll piss you right off. So the next logical step was to save up for a computer, and that is where the computer fund started. Now, that started really good, and it took 24 days to get the money together from beautiful donations from yourself and myself money stuffing to get the, I'm saying money a lot. Oh dear. Money, 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 money. Money. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. Anyway, so like I say, it took us 24 days to get the funding we needed to get the computer sorted. And with some people sending some stuff through from the Amazon wishlist, it was absolutely perfect. So, my husband, do you know how I said, like, he's great and he's amazing and he's so, so lovely? He also works really freaking hard. He does, like, 12-hour days. And he is our main breadwinner, so he brings in the majority of the money. I do things off the side, and obviously my content creation has started to help. But he looked that computer in the eye and went, nope, I am not buying one. I am going to build one. Because my multi-talented hubby also knows how to build computers. He's actually so clever. It's really bloody annoying. But in, like, the best way, because I get, like, free computers and stuff like that. No, I'm totally kidding, honestly. I love him so much. So now I'm currently coming to you live from my very big monstrous computer that's got all the pretty lights in it. All the lights are so freaking pretty. I love it so much. And I'm not going to lie, I never thought I could love a machine that wasn't in my bedside table. And for those of you whose minds weren't there, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about my foot smooth thingy-majiggy. It's like a sander for your feet. It makes them so baby smooth. Honestly, they're so pretty after I've used it. No, I do not sell feet pics. However, I would be open to selling feet pics. I feel like you guys are getting to know me just a little bit too well. Anyways, back to the debt series. So basically, over the last 4 months, we have managed to pay down an amazing £9,000 using the content creation, using what I'm earning from the platforms, and from donations from your lovely selves. I call my followers my gorgeous creatures because honestly, they genuinely are. I would not be where I am today if people didn't decide to get behind this. We are currently using the Battle of the Pennies. I don't know how to get music on this thing right now. And basically what that is it is a battle of two sides. One side who want the numbers to be even and round and beautiful, and then the evil side who want them to be odd numbers that are horrible and smelly. And every day's a little bit like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Occasionally the numbers don't move at all. Sometimes they go down to these beautiful round numbers. Sometimes they get the really stinky ones. But either way, every single donation is truly appreciated. And when the 15th rolls around each month, I tell you guys exactly what I've earned and exactly where it is going. And that's why I think people keep coming back for more. Because they're just nosy. Like really freaking nosy like myself. I love it, you messy bitches. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be amazed if anyone has made it to this point. We are literally at 11 and a half minutes exactly now. And I honestly do not understand why anyone would want to listen to me talk that long. But I do hope this has helped you to kind of motivate you to get on with your own, like, housework. Because trust me, I get it. Housework is the one thing I actually genuinely cannot stand doing. And I find it really difficult to get motivated to just even clean some basic areas sometimes. Either way, thank you so much for watching this whole thing and, listening to me just talk crap all day long for the last 12 minutes. Feel free to let me know in the comments if this was even slightly helpful and what area of your house you did eventually get done. Like I say, if it helped, great. If not, also fine. Even if you just found it a little bit funny, it's worth my time because I truly appreciate you guys. Let me know if you want a longer video next time because I'm going to be doing even more of my house because it's all disgusting. Love you all, long time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good night.